Um, so good morning, everyone. I'm Jess Haskell, the Communications and Engagement Coordinator, for the Sustainability team. I lead on our staff and student engagement, so some of you might have seen me before. I'm delighted to see you all today and welcome you to the launch of the 10th year of Green Impact here at Cambridge. Today's event is aimed at new starters, so for people who haven't been involved in Green Impact before, but if you just want a refresher for Green Impact, it's also a good one for that. So just a few reminders before we get started. We are recording this event, so please keep your webcams and microphones off. If you have any questions throughout the event, please do post them in the chat. Zoe from SOS UK, so Zoe Arnold, some of you might have met her already, will be manning the chat box, and she will probably become a very familiar face to those of you who do join Green Impact this year. We'll be giving you quite a lot of information today. Today is designed to give you an overview of what's possible with Green Impact. Please don't feel that you need to remember everything I'm about to say to you. We will be sending all attendees a follow-up email with all of the resources and a recording of this event. So in just a few moments, I'm going to show you a message from our Vice-Chancellor to formally open today's event. We're then going to run through what Green Impact is, how it works, and how you can get involved. And some of that will be looking at the key dates as well that you need to be aware of. I am planning for the event to take about 40 or 45 minutes, hopefully no more than that. If you do have to leave, just feel free to nip out, and like I say, you will get a link to the recording afterwards. So without further ado, I am going to show you a message from the Vice-Chancellor to open today's event. I hope everyone can hear it okay, but Zoe, please do let me know if the audio doesn't come through.
With the UN's Climate Summit, COP26, just days away, I'm calling on the university community to come together in climate action. Whether you're a student or member of staff, we all have an opportunity to create a more sustainable future. The University of Cambridge is committed to responding to the climate crisis. Together, we're working to reduce our energy-related carbon emissions to absolute zero by 2048 and aim to meet this ambitious target a decade early. We've committed to divest from direct and indirect investments in fossil fuels by 2030. Our flagship climate change initiative, Cambridge Zero, continues to harness the university's research and policy expertise. Improving the overall sustainability performance of our own estate remains a strong priority, and we're committed to transparent public reporting of our progress every year. This is a fascinating and deeply significant time for the university to be involved with sustainability. In August this year, the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released their 6th assessment report. It highlights not only the unprecedented speed of climate change that we're experiencing, but humanity's role in causing it. While it can feel like time is running out and the challenge can seem overwhelming, we do have the knowledge, evidence, and will to take action. As a university, we have an opportunity and responsibility to lead the way and to deliver on our commitments. Today, I invite all staff and students to be part of this crucial journey. I'm delighted to launch the 10th year of Green Impact here at Cambridge. Over the last decade, Green Impact has supported hundreds of staff and students in making positive environmental change. In that time, the scheme has grown in scale, now supporting the university's strategic sustainability targets, covering issues from biodiversity and sustainable travel to waste and energy. This year, we're seeking to enlarge Green Impact's collaborative community of diverse, passionate, and skilled individuals. I urge anyone at the university looking to take climate action to find out more about Green Impact today. Embedding sustainability into an historic, complex, and research-intensive institution is a great challenge. but it's one that we can and will rise to. I hope that you will find an opportunity to increase our sustainability. On behalf of the university, I thank you for being part of a community searching for solutions and combating climate change. I look forward to seeing what we can achieve together in this momentous year.
Okay, so I hope that played okay for everyone. It's always a bit tricky on Zoom, and I'm sorry that the VC can't be here in person, but one day when COVID isn't a thing. So as the Vice-Chancellor said in that opening, it really is a fascinating and important time to be involved in sustainability here at Cambridge. Back in 2019, the university committed to reducing its energy-related carbon emissions to absolute zero by 2048. And also in 2019, Cambridge Zero was launched to facilitate this vision and bring together research and policy expertise. Roughly a year ago, the university committed to transitioning to a net zero investment portfolio by 2030. And in the same month, actually, launched its first ever biodiversity action plan to help manage biodiversity across the university's estate. So here we are a year later with the UN Climate Change Conference just days away, actually. The summit will be a critical moment in climate action and will be a marker in how we limit warming, reduce emissions, and reach net zero. So for us as a sustainability team, we've really seen global knowledge and awareness of climate issues really reaching a peak. We've seen a desire to act now, both in our staff and student bodies. So that's what I'm here to help you work towards today. Every year, SOS UK, which is where Zoe is from, survey students, and a survey of over 6,000 students in October 2019 found that 91% of respondents in higher education said their university should be actively incorporating and promoting sustainability. This is the highest percentage in the 10 years that this study has been conducting, and really demonstrates the growing expectations, and rightly so, of students from across the UK. The great thing is that here at the university, not only do we have those high level commitments that both the Vice-Chancellor and I have touched upon, we have a diverse community of people helping to make these commitments a reality. And one of the ways we do this is through Green Impact. So essentially, Green Impact is a community of people who are looking for solutions, sharing their knowledge and ideas, and ultimately helping to fulfill the university's vision, which is to make a positive impact through outstanding environmental sustainability performance. I've put up a few quotes on the screen from our teams. I think the most common feedback that we get, and Zoe can absolutely echo this as well, is the team element is intensely rewarding and creates great relationships between staff and students and different areas of the university. It offers a really unique way for people to come together towards a common sustainability goal. Importantly, Green Impact also goes beyond environmental sustainability. Particularly during COVID-19, we saw Green Impact offer a support network which reached far wider than the university's physical estate. We know that last year, over 36 charities were supported by Green Impact teams. 4 teams alone raised a combined total of over £16,000. And activities range from clothes collections and baking competitions, charity Secret Santas, to supporting local communities during COVID. So that's everything from prescription pickups to meal deliveries and more. So hopefully I'm giving you a bit of a taste there of the breadth and potential of Green Impact. I'm going to pass over to Zoe to speak about what Green Impact actually is, and then we'll look through some examples of team actions and leave you with some information on how to get started. So Zoe, I'm going to pass over to you for an overview of how Green Impact started and how it's going.
Thanks, Jess. Welcome, everyone. So good morning. So just to give you a wider context of Green Impact as a programme and show kind of our international and national perspective of it. So it is a multi-award winning programme now. We have awards from UNESCO, and I'll explain sort of how it started in a moment. And ultimately we run in loads of different organisations and institutions with the kind of main aim to be designed to support environmentally and socially sustainable practice within organisations. And we want to give people the tools and support to tackle sustainability issues within their work, living, studying spaces. And we ask that teams come together to access their online workbook, and team and sort of collaboration is really central to this as well, rather than constantly individuals taking actions by themselves. And every action completed, we want to recognise, we want to celebrate those actions. And then at the end of the year, whatever institution is taking part, we ask that students are part of this and audit the teams so that teams are able to receive their award depending on what they've achieved. So Green Impact started back in 2004 from a student idea. So someone called Anna was getting frustrated with her students' union throwing away lots of pizza boxes. So she wanted to tackle that and find out how to recycle them and reduce the waste, and then develop this student union led environmental competition and initiative. And this slowly developed to expand across student unions. NUS took it on and supported Anna to develop it. And this map is kind of a slight reflection of where we are now. So not only do we run in universities and college and student unions, but we also work with the NHS. We run with museums, county and city councils, and not only within the UK, but also internationally. So we'll work with lots of universities in Australia, and we're about to launch Green Impact in Japan in some universities in the coming months. So it's already exciting. You can see there on the slide that we've worked with over 500 organizations, and all these teams together have completed over 400,000 actions. And that's just some of the things we know about. And yeah, just to let you know that you're part of this wider community making positive sustainable actions for sustainability.
Thanks very much, Zoe. And as I said at the beginning, Zoe actually is the project manager for us in the Cambridge side. So when you do join Green Impact, you will be seeing a lot of both Zoe and I's faces. So as Zoe mentioned, Green Impact is run by SLS UK, but delivered by the sustainability team here at Cambridge. The actions in the workbook are bespoke to Cambridge, and we're now in our 10th year of Green Impact, so we've had quite a while to hone the actions to what we would like them to be. In terms of a timeline, staff and students form teams and work through a series of actions between October, so now, and April. Each action is worth a certain number of points. In early May, as Zoe mentioned, trained student auditors assess how many actions the teams have successfully completed. And based on the final number of points, teams are then presented with an internationally recognised award in the summer. Our awards start at the working towards bronze level and go all the way up to platinum and excellence. This structure gives guidance. So for those of you who really want to make sustainable change, but you're not quite sure where to start, this is a great place to begin. But it also gives recognition for those of you who may already be taking action. So last year, 47 teams achieved 49 awards, and together they completed over 2,400 sustainability actions. Zoe can post the award winners in the chat box for any of you who would like to see whether your department or college won an award last year. We were really delighted to see so many new teams, particularly when it's been such a challenging year for everyone's workloads and personal lives. We also had 14 colleges taking part, which is fantastic, but we're aiming even higher this year. So team actions can range from biodiversity and energy to waste and sustainable transport, and they become more complex as you progress through the award levels. To give you a sense of what can be achieved through Green Impact, I'm going to show some examples of what our award-winning teams got up to last year. A lot of these actions are designed for teams at the start of your Green Impact journey to build momentum and really set that foundation for larger scale change in future years. So to support sustainable travel, many of our teams held step challenges and virtual events. Together, the initiatives supported by Green Impact teams resulted in a total of over 17 million steps being taken and 14,000 miles cycled. In the top left, you can see MRC Epidemiology doing their bit. So they're taking part in a virtual climbing challenge, and it's great to see that they're in costume, really in the spirit of the thing. Over at Cambridge Assessment, in the bottom left-hand corner, they support sustainable travel in multiple ways, but one of them is this really nifty vending machine for spare parts. So from bike lights and inner tubes to pumps and more, this has really got it all. If we move over to looking at some energy actions, solar panels at Corpus Christi, Hughes Hall, Girton and others are still going strong, and Churchill College are looking to move 2 or more buildings off-grid. At a departmental level, the team in the Alison Richan building created sort of focus months with facts and goals to focus everyone's attention and action and motivate change on those particular areas. Finally, in the bottom right, we've got some pictures of our wonderful teams at Music and MRC MBU who have been tackling waste in their departments. So that's everything from litter picks to recycling of pipette tip boxes, coffee pods and more. So last year, we know that over 7,000 people at the university were using reusable cups or water bottles, and over 300 items were rehomed throughout the university rather than ending up in landfill. And Green Impact was key in making those changes happen. Staying on the waste management theme for a moment, we've had a lot of teams focus on reducing and reusing items, which is really fantastic to see. Darwin and Girton College are trialling a student-funded scheme for reusable takeaway containers, whilst the Department of Surgery have cut down on plastic waste by swapping plastic for cotton lab coat covers. On the biodiversity side of things, we've seen some really fantastic camera trap footage of local wildlife at St John's College and flourishing wildflower meadows at multiple colleges, including Jesus College, which is pictured here. Their lawn is actually made and sown from the same seed mix that was used at the iconic King's College wildflower meadow that some of you might have seen, either in flower or being harvested in a traditional way with Shire horses and a hay wain. Finally, in the centre, I pulled out Environmental Bingo, which was designed by the team at Cambridge Assessment. They cleverly took through the actions in the Working from Home workbook tab, which I'll show you in a minute, and designed them up into a bingo card, which had huge success across the organisation. Still on the engagement side of things, the team at the Postdoc Academy, who are one of our newer teams, produced a fantastic launch video introducing their Green Impact team and their aims. Whilst over at the Department of Chemical Engineering and Biotechnology, they designed a green logo and weekly sustainability newsletter to raise the profile of sustainability within the department. So over the years, as you've probably already kind of gleaned from the actions I'm pulling out, Green Impact teams always manage to amaze us with their creative ways to engage others, and last year was really no exception. So in the top right, the team at UIS held a Back to Basics Bird ID webinar, basically to help people, especially during lockdown, to identify common Cambridgeshire birds whilst working from home. Had really fantastic attendance, particularly some members of the sustainability team, I know learned a few tips there, and even formed the basis of some homeschooling lessons. To further support biodiversity, we've seen bug hotels, bird boxes, and bat boxes springing up in homes, colleges, and apartments. And the final two on this page are ways in which teams have helped raise awareness of the impact of our diets. We've seen vegan cook-alongs and cooking competitions, one of which resulted in this, I think it's a courgette martini entry from Cambridge University Press, which personally isn't for me, but it's a really engaging way to speak about diets and sustainability. And on the bottom right, colleges, including King's and Darwin College, now display the carbon footprint of meals on offer. So this really helps staff and students make informed decisions about their meals, which is really great to see given the potential for impact and scale of change in these areas. My final slide of examples includes a mix of working from home actions and actions that teams have taken to prepare for staff and students actually returning to buildings. So light switches have been labelled to save energy, desk bins have been replaced by communal well-labelled options, and staff have also been given tips on saving energy from home. Team members left wildlife areas in their gardens, rejuvenated ponds, left log piles for wildlife, and joined in biodiversity photography competitions. They've also taken part in online sustainability courses and completed carbon footprint calculations to raise awareness of the potential for sustainable change. For today, I'm not going to speak through many other examples. It's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but the idea was to show you the huge variety of teams and actions. So from college teams to small offices or buildings, everyone brings their skills, their creativity, their interests to make the scheme their own. We even have teams taking part who no longer have a physical office space due to COVID. So taking part in Green Impact is absolutely a journey. It's designed to culminate at large scale change. So at the start of the scheme, your actions will be focused on perhaps smaller scale behaviour change to help create sustainable norms within your workplaces. And these early stages are really, really important, particularly if your department is yet to have considered its environmental impact. They're a great place to start. As you progress through the award levels, you will build on these actions and perhaps take on a single excellence project, which allows you to delve into issues at greater depth. And I'll be talking about that option later on today. So as I said, every team has their own take on an action and will adapt it to best fit the situation of their department or college, but we don't expect you to come up with the actions by yourselves. This is where the Green Impact online workbook comes in. I'm going to show you some quick screenshots of the workbook to demonstrate how it will support you in making change. So first off, you'll need to sign up to the Green Impact workbook. This is the online system where we store all of the actions. Zoe can put a link in the chat to the workbook, as well as a guide on how to register. These will also be circulated after the event, but they give you a step-by-step of how to register. When you follow the link to the workbook, this is what you'll see. It's our homepage. The coloured tabs on the left over here correspond to an award level, and each tab has the relevant actions in it once you click on it. I'll come back to this in a minute. For now, on the right, you'll see a green register link. Once you click this, you'll be able to enter your own details, and you can either select a pre-existing team from a drop-down menu, so your department might already have a team in place, or if they don't, you can set up your own team. So again, all of the information on how to do that is in the registration guide that Zoe can put in the chat. Once you register and sign up to a team, you'll be able to look on the right-hand side panel to see who else is in your team. It's really important that everyone in your team goes through this sign-up process, otherwise they won't receive email updates and events and all that kind of key information. So please make sure everyone in your team is signed up to the Green Impact workbook. Okay, so you want to see which actions you need to complete. To do this, you move over to the left-hand side. If I was part of a college team, I would click the teal colleges tab over here. If I'm a new departmental team, I would start with the bronze tab up here. Today, I'm going to speak through a departmental bronze award as an example, but the process and functionality is the same for all the bronze, silver, and gold college tabs that you will see listed over here. So you've registered all your team members, you've logged in, and you've clicked the bronze tab. You're following all my instructions perfectly. This is what you'll see. And if you want to find out what actions say B001 to B003 in the first section are, you would need to click the Show All button. So just here, and you can do that for every section listed down here. Once you do that, this page then opens up where you'll be able to view the actions you need to complete to achieve your bronze award. If we look at the first action here, you can see that there are a number of tabs along the action. Sorry, my mouse is frozen. Right along here. These all give you a bit of extra information as well as the total number of points. So that's over here, that the action is worth. So the first tab, criteria, explains what the action is and what it's asking you to do, really, in essence. So in this instance, either the department has an environmental group or committee made up of 2 or more people that meets at least termly, or environmental issues are a regular item on departmental meeting agendas. Now, if you wanted a bit more information on what the action is asking you to do, you can click the Further Information tab, this one here, and this screen will come up. And in this tab, it will give you some ideas and tips for meeting the action. For example, who should be included in the group, how to get started, and how you can demonstrate that you have met the action. Whichever action you're completing at whatever level, I always recommend having a quick skim of the Further Information tab, just for some ideas, and so you're not having to reinvent the wheel yourselves. Once you're happy that you've completed the action, in this case, say you've formed an environmental group that meets termly, then you move to the Comments and Evidence tab, this one at the end here. Here you can use this text box to explain how you met the action and upload your evidence. For example, for this one, you could upload minutes from your termly meetings. Evidence should be from within the last 12 months, unless it's otherwise specified in the action itself. And when you're done, you click the far right little button over here to mark your action as done. And that's telling us that you've submitted all your evidence and you're happy that you have met that action. As a team, you would then work through this process for all the actions under the bronze tab. And once you're happy you've completed all that you can, you will submit your workbook at the end of April. In May, a trained student auditor will meet with you and evaluate your progress. Depending on how many points your team achieved, you will then be presented with the corresponding award level at a ceremony in June. So details of points needed for each award level are available in our Green Impact Guide, which Zoe can link to in the chat if she hasn't done already. But I've also put it up on the screen here for your ease. Essentially, all our award levels are points-based. So if you complete 45 points from the bronze tab, you will receive a Working Towards Bronze award. If you complete all 90 points from the bronze tab, you will receive a bronze award. If you complete all bronze and silver actions, you would achieve a silver award, which is the next level up from our bronze. It's important to remember for all our award levels, apart from the Working Towards Bronze, so apart from our very first award, you can split your efforts between years. So for example, this year you could focus on achieving your bronze award, meaning that next year you could move on to focusing on silver actions as you've already achieved your bronze. So as I mentioned, don't worry about remembering all of this, it's in the guide already, so don't need to scribble that down. So Green Impact was designed to take place physically in university buildings, but with COVID, we've adopted a new flexible approach. And this is essentially to ensure that whether you're still working from home, whether you have some people in offices, some people still at home, there are multiple options for you and you can still take part and work towards an award level. Today, I'm going to speak through a working from home option as well as an excellence option for more experienced teams. I would say that if you are a student who's joined us today and you're looking to join a college team, it's very likely that your college is at a level where they can take on an excellence project. So it's worth paying attention to that section when it comes up. Although obviously you're hanging on my every word, I'm sure. So for those of you who still have staff working from home, I would have a look at our working from home tab. And this is on that main homepage. When you sign in, you'll be able to look down on the left-hand side and there is a working from home tab there. It has a set of almost 50 working from home actions. And like the standard workbook, each action is worth a certain number of points. So if due to COVID-19 restrictions and all the ongoing ramifications of those, you find you can't meet an action in the standard workbook, but you still really want to aim for an award level, you are able to complete one or more working from home actions in its place. So there's no limit on the number of standard actions that can be swapped. The essential rule is that if the standard action is worth 8 points, you must complete an equivalent or greater number of points from the working from home tab. I'll demonstrate this process in a moment. Essentially, at the end of the Green Impact year in April, you would submit both your standard workbook, so those actions that you have been able to complete in your university buildings, and your working from home workbook for the auditors to assess. And then if successful, you would still receive the standard bronze, silver, gold, etc. award. I know that's a lot to take in, so don't worry, it's all in the guide. But I'm just going to give you a quick run through of in practice when you log into the workbook, what this would look like. So you would navigate to your standard workbook first. So here we are in bronze. And you'd come right across to the right-hand side where that big red arrow is, and you would click NA, not applicable, for the action that you are unable to complete. You would then move along to the comments and evidence section that I've highlighted before. And here you just explain why you are unable to meet the action and notify the auditors that you've essentially completed working from home actions in its place. Before you move away to the working from home workbook, it's really important here that you look at the number of points. So again, where the big red arrow is, you need to know the number of points that you need to replace. So in this case, it's 7. We then open up the working from home workbook, which looks very similar to the standard workbooks. And here, you need to remember the number of points that you are trying to replace. So you need to complete an equal or greater number of points from this workbook. So in this case, we need to make up for 7 points. So we would need to complete actions 1, 2, and 3 to total 7 or greater. It is worth saying though that if the standard action that you're replacing focuses, say, on energy or biodiversity, that does not mean you need to substitute it with an energy or biodiversity focused working from home action. You can use any working from home actions you want. It's the total number of points that matters. So that's a quick overview of the working from home option. As I say, and I keep repeating, everything is in an online guide that we'll make sure you all have, but that's just to give you a bit of a sense of an option which is available to you if you just think, we don't have the capacity, we don't have that number of staff back in buildings, or we need a bit of flexibility. If your team have achieved silver or above, the other option that is available to you is an excellence project. So an excellence project is a single project that is undertaken over the next 7 months. It's not defined by actions in the workbook. It's up to your team to decide the focus and the scale of your project. So it's a really great option for silver, gold or platinum teams who may not yet be back in buildings, or if you've previously identified areas that you'd like to improve or focus in on. And it also works really well if your team just prefer having a single topic focus. So if something has been niggling at your department for years, this is your opportunity to really drill down and focus on it. It allows for that more in-depth action and a bit more adaptability than the standard workbook. And we see our excellence projects having impact for years to come. Excellence projects also work really well for teams who have little spring availability. So instead of an in-person or remote audit on a particular date in May, your project is judged on your final report submission. So it's a bit of a different process. To complete an excellence project, you would still navigate to the online workbook where there is an excellence tab. Here you'll see that there are 4 project planning and reporting documents, and these must be completed and submitted in the online workbook by certain points in the Green Impact year. The first deadline is to submit your project idea by the 14th of November. So have that date in your mind if you're thinking this could be of interest to you. It's the 14th of November that we need to know your project idea. Last year, our excellence teams chose to focus on improving waste management in PDN, raising the profile of environmental matters in the Institute for Manufacturing, and creating a living lab at Wolfson College. The living lab provides a structure for the Wolfson community to complete a sustainability project, whatever their discipline. They do not need to be from a sustainability focused discipline. And it was actually led by a student and the domestic bursar, which is a really nice working relationship there. So together as part of Green Impact and with the help of students, staff, fellows, the pair developed a formal application process, secured funding, and they also launched their first project, which was Waste to Art, where they highlighted conversations around food waste and overconsumption. Back in 2019, so for our 2019-2020 year, our excellence teams chose to tackle slightly different areas. So Churchill College tackled single-use plastics and managed to achieve a 4% reduction in single-use plastics, which equated to over 2 tons of plastic. And over at the Cambridge Institute for Sustainability Leadership, they designed a tool to track the department's carbon emissions to be able to find where improvements could happen in future years. As you can see, excellence projects go well beyond the scope of the standard Green Impact actions. Your team can decide the title and the scope of your project, but our team, so the sustainability team and Zoe, are on hand to help advise and shape your excellence project, particularly in those early stages where you're trying to refine your title and idea. Judges will be looking for projects which can demonstrate a level of impact based on measurable KPIs, essentially, or metrics. Multiple stakeholders should be involved in the project, and we're really looking for that innovation and generation of best practice so that others across the university can learn from your findings and actions. More information, including links to previous excellence projects, can be found in our guide, and Zoe can also share some links in the chat for those interested. So we just have a couple more slides and areas to touch on this morning. One of those is going to be the key dates for anyone who is interested in taking part. As mentioned just now, the excellence project option runs to a slightly different timeline. You will submit your project title in November, upload a project plan in December, provide us with an update at the end of February, and then it's a final written project report submitted by the 15th of May. In the online workbook, you will find templates for all these documents and a reminder of these deadlines. For departmental or college teams, you essentially have until the 29th of April to work your way through as many actions as you can and submit your workbook. Your team will then be audited in May. All teams, so excellence, departmental and college, will receive their awards at an awards ceremony in June, where we celebrate your ideas, look at your achievement, learn from others, and really just take stock of what's been achieved in the past year for Green Impact. Throughout it all, the sustainability team and SOS UK are here to support you. We have regular online drop-in sessions where you can bring your questions to us, and we'll also be in touch via email with top tips and case studies. The sustainability team also have a monthly sustainability newsletter, which I would encourage you to sign up to if you haven't already, which is a great source of events and campaigns that you may want to link up to. And it's also worth mentioning that there is a Yammer group. So for those of you who do use Yammer, it's a great place to chat to other Green Impact teams and sustainability interested people across university. I know that's been a huge amount of information, but trust me, we have written it all down for you, and we'll make sure you have all the relevant resources. If this does sound like it's something that you would like to get involved with, and you really enjoy being part of the team, making structured change, then here are your next steps, basically. The first one is to sign up to join Green Impact and register in the workbook. You will need to use the registration code, which is 71. You would then meet with your team and decide which award you would like to work towards this year. And I always advise having a look through our FAQs just for some simple explanations of the process and common questions. So things I've covered here today, really. And then whether you're new to Green Impact or a seasoned team member, I know we've got some of you on the call here today. If you have any questions for us that aren't answered elsewhere, please do come along to these drop-in sessions. Zoe will be hosting them, and they're just a really informal opportunity for you to drop in with your question and get an answer then and there. If you have any other questions or you can't make those drop-in sessions, please do email the sustainability team using the sustainability@admin address right at the bottom down here. And then here's our final slide. I did promise I'd try and keep it quick for you today. Thank you all for joining us. So whether you're a student or a member of staff, we're really delighted to have so many of you looking to take action. As the Vice-Chancellor said, we are really trying to enlarge the impact and participation of Green Impact this year. It's a fantastic programme, and the more departments and colleges we have on board, the greater change we can make as a university. I just want to leave you with this quote from a student auditor last year who said, "It was really inspiring to see how enthusiastic the team were and how eager they were to make a positive difference. Speaking to the team makes you question why all departments and colleges aren't signed up to the scheme." So here's your personal open invitation to join us and help make a difference this year. That's it from me. Like I say, you know how to contact us if you've got any questions. Email address is at the bottom. So thank you, everyone. Have a lovely, not so sunny lunch, and I hope to hear from you soon.